Dear Church, let's talk about Crowley's Ridge College with President Richard Johnson. Hello and welcome to the Dear Church podcast. Once again, it's your host, Chris McCurley. I have a special guest today, a good friend of mine, Richard Johnson, joining us from my hometown, Paragould, Arkansas. And Richard, thank you so much for being on today.
Hey, good morning, Chris. I appreciate the opportunity. Always good to see you. Think a lot of you and your family and the work that you are doing now, and just things seem to be really going well for you, and I couldn't be happier for you.
Well, I appreciate that very much. It is going well, and I know it's going well for you. And for our viewers and listeners, Richard and I go way back to when I was basically a kid. You're not that much older than me, but you married the girl next door to me, and been married for how long now to Andrea?
Oh, goodness, it'll be 40 years this May.
Wow.
So coming on. How she's put it with me that long, I don't know.
How many kids and grandkids do you have now? What are we up to?
We do. We've got 3 grown children and all married and faithful, and we've got 5 grandchildren. And we'll see what else God has in mind there.
Well, I know life is going good for you. I appreciate what you're doing there at Crowley's Ridge College. And it's kind of a hidden gem that this is a little bit of an unusual podcast in that we don't typically just talk about a certain university or something like that. But I wanted to do so because it's in my hometown. You're a friend of mine, and I believe it's one of those, like I said a while ago, a hidden gem that people just don't know about, and I think it's good to bring it to light. And we've had most of the Christian college presidents on, so getting you on here was good too. Talk a little bit about Crowley's Ridge College. If you were going to sell Crowley's Ridge College, what's the brief synopsis or what's the selling points that you would give us?
Oh my goodness. So many, but as a guy who grew up in a really small town of 350, not really knowing exactly what, except Dad's farm was maybe not large enough for us 4 brothers, and I decided I needed a small Christian school, and they agreed, and I came here to CRC after hearing about it as a teenager at the youth camp. We had some of the counselors, weekly ministers on staff at CRYC from the college when I was a teenager. And I thought, well, maybe I should go there. And so when I got college age, I tried it and immediately just fell in love with the people that worked there. I felt like I was home, away from home, really. And I was, and it was a great atmosphere for me as a youngster. Today, we continue that same type of emphasis on really personalizing the experience and trying to make students feel like they are home away from home, offering some good opportunities. I'm really pleased with what CRC is doing in terms of we've got quite a number of things. We may be it's a beautiful campus, very small college in that regard, but so many things to do. We've really done some things spiritually to make that spiritual emphasis even stronger as we've employed a full-time campus ministry program, and we've done that since 2020. We have now 9 bachelor degrees, and I think 13 or 14 minors, and just offering our new degree, able to do that, a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Today, that was just approved by the HLC, and so that'll offer you some new opportunities there.
So when I was growing up, it was a 2-year school. I know you've expanded now to a lot of the degrees that you offer are 4-year. Is that true across the board? And how many degree options are there that are 4 years?
Sure. We have 9 that are bachelor degrees. We still have an Associate of Arts degree. And if someone doesn't quite have the right degree program, getting that associate still puts them ahead of the game. But we also have programs now that we have some articulation agreements and other agreements with Harding University, Freed-Hardeman, to where you can go here 2 years, go to Freed-Hardeman, get a 2-year Bachelor of Nursing, you can go 3 years here and then 3.5 at Harding University and get a doctorate in pharmacy. And then we have a number of bachelor degrees beyond that with Harding and Freed as well. So if you look at all of those together, we've got 9 bachelor and 13, and then we've got multiple other degrees with Freed and Harding. So getting on up there and a little more opportunities for those that come here to play ball. They've got a lot of opportunities as well in those degree programs, or for those that think that they may want to start maybe their degree program here and finish it somewhere else. They can save some money doing that as well. So that's something they might want to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. I can remember as a youth minister in Batesville, Arkansas, one of the things that I talked to the kids about is they were hearing from Freed-Hardeman, they were hearing from Harding, and great schools, and but Crowley's Ridge College was just not really on the radar, and so I tried to bring that to light. Michael Meredith, who is now preaching at Center Hill Church of Christ, he was working with Crowley's Ridge College at that time. I had him come up and talk to the students because it is. What it has to offer is different and unique in that it's a small atmosphere, like you said, beautiful campus up on the ridge in Paragould, where I took a class out there to transfer to Arkansas State when I was in college, and the level of intimacy that you have with the professor, the smaller classes, and just the spiritual atmosphere is something that I'm not saying the other colleges don't offer that. It's just it's unique in that it's smaller, and you can get more one-on-one with the teacher, and also you have that that camaraderie with the students that you may not have at a college that's 4, 5, 10,000 folks. So talk a little bit about that and about what you have to offer in regards to the things that I just mentioned.
Well, I tell you, when I see our students interact, whether it's a brand new prospective student that's coming and touring college for the first time, and our student ambassadors come and bring them by our multiple offices, including mine, and we'll get to speak and meet them and their parents. Or orientation is that way as well, registration, where we really get to meet them and they get to ask questions, get them settled in their residential dorms or apartments, and then to see them come to class. I've had so many students, I cannot believe you know me by my first name, and you call me by my first name. That's something I think that's special. Our chapel speakers come in. We try to bring something from the community, whether it's the Paragould community or the church community, and bring something that they can utilize and relate to. Our business symposium, the way we brought local speakers in to come, many of them were CRC graduates, which was nice, but to see those come in and interact with our students as well. You see when things are over, our students gather around. Our ball games are over, we'll gather around and have a prayer, and they'll come together. It's a wonderful atmosphere that way. When we have our coaches will often have their students, their players in, and they'll feed them in their homes and that sort of thing, and really get to know them that way. And when our classes begin, we don't forget about them. I mean, we know their name, but we also know their grade. And if they need a little extra help, we've got a student success center. And sometimes we'll require it because we want them to succeed and do well. And that's one of the things that I hear our students say after they graduate. I'm so proud of the way that you cared, and you wouldn't let me not do well. Y'all really were on top of that. And I was real pleased with that. A lot of times the talk is about, I didn't know I was going to like chapel so well, but as I'm getting older and more mature, that's one of the things I miss most about CRC.
Yeah. And if people don't realize, Crowley's Ridge College also has several sports that are competitive with. You mentioned that a couple of times. I guess I should say
We do.
girls and boys basketball, baseball, different sports that are offered there that are competitive. And, you might want to speak to that a little bit as well for someone who is looking to further their athletic career as well as their academic career. they can come to Crowley's Ridge College as well?
Sure. Well, we do have excellent degree programs, but a part of the college experience often is giving kids something to do. These young people want to stay busy, and sports programs is one way to do that, including our intramural sports programs. We have a lot of things there, but with our men's baseball, basketball, golf, cross country, women's, we have basketball and softball, volleyball, and cross country. These are scholarship sports. Each one of them are. Some of them have a JV team and a varsity team. And these are 4-year scholarships. If they're here for 4 years, they can lock that in and do well. We compete in the American Midwest Conference and the NAIA National Conference. And that's a recent move. This is our first year in the American Midwestern Conference. We were in a different one last year. NAIA. We travel quite a bit, but in that conference, not quite as far. And that helps out a little bit, keeping them in class a little bit longer, don't miss as many days, that sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
For our athletes, our student, though, we've got Wi-Fi on our buses and our vans. We don't want our kids, even if they miss class, they can access it online, still keep up with their studies. And that's really been helpful to us. That's one thing that I guess I'll say positive about COVID is our technology needs really increased, and we got on top of those, and now we're using those just as a part of academic life to benefit everyone.
Yeah, that is great. Hey, talk a little bit about you personally, how you landed in this role. I've been observing from afar now that I don't live in Paragould anymore. Are you in ministry or in the mental health space and find yourself struggling to navigate complex issues surrounding sexuality? If so, Freed-Hardeman University invites you to join them on February the 11th through 13th for a seminar entitled What Every Church Leader and Behavioral Health Professional Needs to Know About Sexuality and Ministry. The seminar features Steve Holliday, a leading expert in sexual trauma, addiction, and pornography. Over 3 days, you'll gain practical insights on topics like sexual trauma, healing, and addiction. Open to students, church leaders, and behavioral health professionals with free CE credits available for licensed counselors and social workers. This is an opportunity you don't want to miss. For more information and to register, you can email gradstudies@fhu.edu. Now back to the podcast. Talk a little bit about that, because this was not something that you were immersed in, and then all of a sudden you are. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, when I transferred from CRC to Harding University to finish my bachelor, we were only a 2-year school back then, and so. But after that, I came back to Paragould to work in the Christian organization and worked there for a long time. Finished my master's in nonprofit management with the emphasis in fundraising, and worked there quite a few years. And then I worked with Thompson and Associates out of Brentwood, Tennessee, for several years. And CRC was one of my clients, and I'd helped them with some charitable estate planning work. Several of their board members and their donors, a couple of the board members said after I'd helped them a little bit, as a part of CRC's contract, why don't you come and work for us full time? Initially, didn't really think I could do that, but the more Andrew and I prayed about it and thought about it, we thought, well, what if this is a door that God opened and we need to walk through it? As we began thinking about it that way, we decided to do that. So while I consulted with CRC about 4 years or so before I came here full time, in 2007, I was their vice president for advancement, and I helped them with what I was really doing as a consultant and also their annual campaign as well. It wasn't long into working at CRC, even though I'd worked in nonprofit work a long time. I could tell that higher education was different in terms of some of the things I hadn't experienced yet in some of those other jobs. And so I talked to the board about going and getting my doctorate. I thought that might be a good thing for me to really understand this industry much better. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do that because while CRC has been such a great college now for 60 years, uh, like any young college, they've gone through years of it's been difficult, and you want to have donors' confidence. You want to have them to go ahead and support you on a regular basis. And then when they're older, maybe leave some planned gifts through wills and charitable estate planning. And that was getting to be a difficult thing for CRC. And I thought, I really need to understand what that is about a little bit more. So I structured my doctorate program to where I could study the subject of how a small Christian college recognizes decline and turns around. And so that's really what my entire study was about. And when the board saw that, I think that was one of the things that they wanted me to use right here at CRC. And I have since January 1st of 2020 is when I started as president. I'm in my 6th year. That doesn't seem possible right now.
Yeah.
But I've been implementing my dissertation, my study on those subjects since then. And it's really helped us immensely. Our enrollment, we've just recognized our 5th year of consecutive increase in enrollment. I think we're going to blow it open this coming year, the way our admissions results are looking right now. So we set some record numbers last year, but I think we'll beat those this coming semester as well.
That's great, because I'm from that area, and I remember the times where it was thought that maybe they were going to have to close their doors. And so to hear that it's on the up and things are going well, that's just incredible. And it's a testament to what you're doing and the people you've placed around you. You've hired great people. You've put people in positions around you that are doing a great job as well. Jeremy Pierce and Art Smith and, guys like that, just are wonderful gentlemen. But, talk a little bit about your vision for CRC going forward. What's in the
Sure.
works? What do you see CRC becoming and evolving into over the next several years?
Sure. Well, we've got plenty to do. While we've made some good progress. In fact, if you come on campus right now, you'll see a lot of fresh turned dirt on campus because of putting in a new system that takes care of a many decades old problem in terms of just how we will connect on to all of our buildings and all of our future buildings. So our wastewater system, we got a brand new one that's about in. We're about to turn dirt on a $3.5 million science building that we really have needed for these degree expansions. It's going to allow us to offer multiple new classes in the various fields of science and psychology, chemistry, and we've not been able to do a few of those before, but that will help us attract new students, more students, a really quality student that's wanting to really do well academically. But we're also doing a number of things in Bible. We've been approved to offer online classes in all 50 states. And so that opens some opportunities that we can continue to give back to churches, whether it's one class at a time or a certificate program, or eventually an entire bachelor degree if they're interested, as we can develop those and have those approved and ready. Same thing for our business program, having those not just online classes, but entire degree programs ready. Do those at affordable prices. And I think, Chris, that's one of the things that has helped us grow our enrollment is we recognize who we are, what we're good at, when we think about that from a price viewpoint as well. Where does that price structure need to be for what we offer? And so we're intentionally keeping those prices as low as possible. We want to make that business model work for us, but we don't want to do it in such a way that our students are having difficulty paying for it and they leave here with a high debt. We certainly are fighting against that. We give out a little over $900,000 in annual scholarships, and that's just institutional. Some of those get a number of scholarships beyond that. But the majority of our students really do quite well. Our retention rate, we're keeping those students. Our graduation rates are doing much better as well. So we're proud of that. We want them to go out, have successful careers, have a great experience from here that they can give something back to their community, their churches, and folks are glad to have a CRC graduate in those areas.
Absolutely. The foundation of Crowley's Ridge College is, of course, Christian in nature. I mean, it is a Christian school. Talk a little bit about the Bible department and the Christian atmosphere and how that saturates everything that you guys do and what you're about.
Oh, it does. Of course, we've certainly started that way. We've continued with that same focus in terms of that's the foundation of our mission, are the Christian principles that we're about. We want to make every student feel welcome. They may not all have the same exact views as far as Christianity goes, but they're going to learn quite a few things about the Bible while they're here. They'll have another number of required classes. But if they're going into the Bible in ministry in terms of full-time, want to be a preacher or youth minister, mission worker, or work in a Christian school, there's a number of things we offer to have those emphases as well. It really is a part of all that we're doing. Right now, we're going through, we're looking at all of our classes. We want to make sure that each of our classes are backed up with some good Christian emphasis throughout. Nothing that's going to make them where they wouldn't be transferable to any college because they
Right.
still need that ability. But we're certainly making sure that we're emphasizing some of those principles in everything that we do.
Yeah. And it shows. I mean, I know a lot of graduates that have come out of CRC that are in ministry and very, very talented, well-adjusted. I mean, you can tell that they received a quality education while they're there. You know, in terms of somebody listening to this podcast or watching it and saying, you know, I want to know more about Crowley's Ridge College. I want to contribute. I want to donate and help it in any way I can. How would they go about doing that, Richard?
Well, certainly a phone call at 870-236-6901 or email myself at president@crc.edu. If they want to drop by, if they'd like to come and see a tour firsthand, we can do that as well. If they just want to go to our website, which is crc.edu, go to our donations page. They can see the link there on the giving. Easy to do that through a one-time gift monthly. There's things that have really done well, like charitable gift annuities. Those are some increased fixed rate investments, part investment, part gift. Those rates are about the highest they've been in 16 years. So it would be a good time to consider things like that. Help us pay for the new science building. We still have a little bit left to pay on that. So a lot of ways, if they'd like to be a part of the president's council and give up to $1,000 a year or more, they can do that as well. We'll use that for a number of things in our operations, or it could be even scholarship programs, or it could be particular degree programs. If they would like to support what their interest is as a donor, that would be fine.
And I know you guys have people that come and speak to youth groups and to churches about Crowley's Ridge College. I assume they can have that opportunity as well.
They can. We've got three of us in our advancement team and my team that we go out and do that. And then our couple of our Bible faculty members go out and do that as well. And several on our admissions team go out. So depending on if it's a youth group or the elders would like a meeting or the church would like just a program, we could go and preach and then teach Bible class. We could do it a number of different ways that way.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Richard, thank you so much for your hard work and for what you're doing there at Crowley's Ridge College. Please tell your entire team we appreciate it, and just thank you for taking time to come on and promote that great university.
Well, Chris, I appreciate that. We do have a great team. I couldn't be happier with the faculty and staff that we have. They work so hard, and and they really want to go the extra mile, and they want to make the students' experience an excellent one that they won't forget, that will affect them for eternity. So I appreciate you inviting me, but it's really a great group that we've got, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
Yes, absolutely. I want to tell our listeners and viewers that if they have a question about today's episode, you can email me at chris.mccurley@rippleoflight.com. If you have a specific question for Richard, we can certainly pass it on to him. I'm sure he'd be willing to answer any questions that you might have. And we just thank everyone for tuning in. Again, Richard, thank you for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Chris.
Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Sincerely, Chris.